Right now, how a local group is helping empower and inspire Madison's black community. Also, a party with the Madison Mallards at the Duck Pond this afternoon to celebrate the very best of Madison's North Side. And a somber vigil this afternoon for Queen Elizabeth II, her 8 grandchildren bidding farewell to the late monarch at her state funeral. That's all coming up at 10. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Arman Rahman. Let's first off take a look at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Julian Seawright. Julian?
Well, the good news is that the showers we saw earlier this evening have pretty much phased themselves out. Now, we are still holding on to a bit of humidity as we continue throughout the rest of our Saturday nights, so it's going to be on the muggy side, but the good news is, folks, we will start to cool down just a bit as we continue throughout the rest of the night, but we're still going to be monitoring any more developments of showers throughout the course of the nights. Now, taking a look at how we stacked up for today. Today was not a scorcher per se, but it was very mild. Temperatures into the upper 70s. Normally around this time of year, we're into the lower 70s here in Madison, so we did have a seasonably warm type of day for us. Now, temperatures, now we take a look, 70 degrees as of right now here in Madison, Janesville, 68 in Platteville. So we're still holding on to a bit of some mild temperatures as we continue throughout the rest of the night, and that's pretty much the theme for us here in Dane County as well, as we're looking into the 70s and upper 60s for many areas. Now, moving to our dew points. We have a lot of juice in our atmosphere as mid to upper 60s are throughout much of southern Wisconsin and 70-degree dew points for Janesville, which is going to be fuel once again for us to look and see some showers and potentially even some storms that could lead into the early parts of tomorrow. We'll time this out and explain where we could see these storms in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, Armand.
Thanks, Julian. Well, Wisconsin football entered its game with New Mexico State ready to turn things around after being plagued by mental mistakes last week. Needless to say, they did. Jordan Reed joins us now with more on the Badgers' insane win.
Now, if you thought that the Badgers' Week 1 win was impressive, that was a 38-0 shutout, then how about today? Leading New Mexico State by 35 points at halftime, the end result 66 points scored, and like you imagine, it started with Braylon Allen. On Wisconsin's opening drive, Allen finds a gap and takes off for 39 yards. Just a minute 30 in, and UW is already on the scoreboard. Offense goes quiet for the rest of that first quarter. Then it's go time once that second quarter hits. The Badgers score on their next 4 possessions, leading 35-0 at halftime. Will now take that number, pretty much double it. Wisconsin routs New Mexico 66-7.
You know, the response, last week, that part I was pleased with, and then it's all about, you get a chance to play the game, and I thought guys were ready and came out and played. But you just got to keep going, keep trying to grow.
Our coverage of the Badgers blowout win continues in sports, and we're going to hear from the team. Armand?
Thanks, Jordan. Well, local veterans who fought in the Korean and Vietnam Wars are back home tonight after a quick day trip to Washington, D.C. as part of the 43rd Badger Honor Flight. These flights, which happen nationwide, charter veterans to our nation's capital to see the memorials that have been erected in their honor. Everything from transportation to food is free for the veterans because of how much they've sacrificed for the country. The flight left early this morning from Dane County Regional Airport at 5 a.m. and returned just in the last hour.
Well, a lot of you're honored. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, and when the Vietnam era ended, there wasn't a lot of welcome back situation. A lot of us had to change the civilian clothes before we got off the airplane, things like that. This is kind of like a welcome back.
The next Badger Honor Flight is set for Tuesday, October 11th. And the season may be over for the Madison Mallards, but the party was just getting underway this afternoon. The Duck Pond hosted the first ever Northside Festival that partnered with the Willie Street Co-op and the Northside Planning Council to bring the event to life with food, vendors, and live entertainment, all from the North Side. Mallards executives say the club wanted to celebrate all the North Side has to offer.
Rebuilding relationships with vendors and food trucks and bands, just all specifically here on the North Side, has been something we've always wanted to do, and this is the perfect way to do it.
The festival went until 7 p.m. Organizers say they're already looking forward to doing it again next year. A two-vehicle crash this afternoon around 3:30 blocked part of Highway 19. This was right near the Highway 151 overpass. The intersection was blocked for about an hour. No word yet on how many people were inside those cars or their condition. And a group of people living inside a Beaver Dam house are displaced tonight after their home caught fire. It happened around last night around 7 o'clock. Firefighters arrived to South Center Street where smoke and flames could be seen coming from the house. Crews were able to contain the fire to the kitchen and extinguish it quickly, but they stayed on scene for nearly 2 hours to let the building ventilate. The home suffered from smoke and water damage. St. Vincent de Paul and the Red Cross are assisting the residents who were displaced. A violent night in Milwaukee last night where 5 people were shot after a fight. Police say 4 people showed up to the hospital with gunshot wounds around 8 o'clock. A few hours later, a 5th person showed up with similar wounds. Police arrested that person shortly after, but she has not been charged with anything yet. Everyone is expected to be okay, but police are still trying to figure out how this whole thing started. Well, all 8 of Queen Elizabeth's grandchildren stood vigil beside her coffin a day after the king and his siblings did the same. The special tribute comes as world leaders and dignitaries have begun arriving for the late monarch's funeral on Monday. MTS Tayeb reports from Westminster.
They came to stand vigil for the Queen, but to all 8 of Elizabeth II's grandchildren, she was affectionately their granny. As the public streamed past them in the cavernous Westminster Hall, their silent vigil somehow felt private and deeply personal, with Prince William standing at the head of the late monarch's coffin and Prince Harry at the foot, dressed in military uniform at his father King Charles's request. It's the first time the Duke of Sussex, who served 2 combat tours of Afghanistan, has done so since he and his wife Meghan stepped back as working royals in 2020. Built over 900 years ago, Westminster Hall is an ancient symbol of imperial power, the oldest part of the Palace of Westminster that also houses Parliament. It's where, for the last century, British monarchs are brought to lie in state.
King George VI, of blessed and glorious memory.
Including the Queen's father, King George VI, in 1952. And half a century later, his wife, Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was afforded the same honor. But never have we seen scenes like this. Mourners waiting in a line so long, it could be seen from space, as Westminster Hall continues to be a destination for tens of thousands to pay their final respects. Earlier in the day, King Charles and Prince William were met with cheers as they surprised mourners waiting in the 5-mile line.
You did an amazing job, honestly. Well done you. You're nearly there, okay? Nearly there. Okay. Love to see you all the best.
They shook hands and thanked people who'd been waiting, in some cases, throughout the night.
It was a fantastic experience to meet both of them. Humbling experience as well. You know, you see what they do for the country, and you see how much people love them.
World leaders have already started arriving here in London ahead of the state funeral on Monday, with President Biden and the First Lady expected to pay their respects to the Queen at Westminster Hall on Sunday. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, Westminster.
Well, a local organization working to empower and inspire transformation within Madison's black community celebrated tonight. Andrew Banstra is in the studio with more on Urban Triage's Harvest Festival. Andrew.
Urban Triage hosted their annual Harvest Festival today at the Farley Center. The group's goal is to set up Madison's black community for success through transformative education, self-sufficiency, and agriculture. In the 2 years they've been around, they've already helped 10,000 families, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Urban Triage has a vision to empower transformation in Madison's black community through education and agriculture.
The idea is that we need to meet people where they're at and offer them other opportunities and environments for different experiences, right? And teach people how to utilize tools that help them feel empowered, inspired, and transformed.
Whether it's teaching self-sufficiency or growing crops, Urban Triage shows you reap what you sow.
This is possible because of what we sow, you know? And we wanted to bring it to our farm where we're growing food and delivering food for free and creating like this new awareness and understanding of the importance of agriculture. I mean, we're from Wisconsin.
Today's event was held at the Farley Center, a fellow nonprofit that donated their land to Urban Triage, working together to build community.
Without them, this wouldn't be possible. And that's what community looks like.
They use our differences to connect us. They use knowledge to help people grow.
Supporting healthy black families is about personal development, personal change, accountability, how to be present for yourself, your community, and your family, right? That's what we teach in there. And then we have our co-conspirators, and that's our non-black folks. And we come together and we create this space, you know, it's transformative.
It takes a community to make Urban Triage thrive, and that's what they've built.
Allow us to have community with people who are different than ourselves, right? And that's like step one. I mean, if we're thinking about a world where everyone can thrive and everyone can not just survive, but really sort of be their best selves, we need to think about race.
By connecting with people and teaching them, they've proved that you can create your own paradigm, see the world in a different way, and forge your own path.
I mean, that's what this is. This is community. This is what it looks like when you invest in community. This is what it looks like when you trust the people who have lived or have lived experience, when you trust them to do the work. This is what it looks like. It creates infinite possibilities.
Black farmers once made up 14% of America's farmland. Today, they hold just 1.3%. In addition to building financial sustainability through farming and economic empowerment, the group brings Madison's diverse community together for fun events such as today's, showing that we're all the same, no matter your background.
And still ahead at 10, scientists are playing with their food to come up with different colors. Soon, the tomatoes at the grocery store may be purple, not red.
The perfect time to get your roofing project off the ground with Feldco. As the seasons change, you want to be sure your house is ready for the harsh Midwestern weather ahead. For just $279 a month, you can protect your home and your family with a new Feldco roof. So get your fall started off on the right foot today with Feldco.
Roofing for $279 a month and soon. Hurry, call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Do you feel safe? Mandela Barnes would eliminate cash bail, setting accused criminals free into the community before trial. Even with shootings, robberies, carjackings, violent attacks on our police. More than 300 murders last year alone. Yet Barnes has even supported defunding the police. Mandela Barnes, he stands with them, not us. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The 2023 Ford F-150 trucks are coming, meaning more ways to haul, tow, go, and do, and with more ways than ever to make it your own. Plus, if you order now, you'll lock in your price and lock in your rate. Do more in a 2023 Ford F-150. Custom order yours today. Lock in 2.9 for $60 and get $500 retail order bonus cash when you order a Ford F-150. Only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
Look, we knew the other side would make up lies about me to scare you. Now they're claiming I want to defund the police and abolish ICE. That's a lie. I'll make sure our police have the resources and training they need to keep our community safe. And that our communities have the resources to stop crime before it happens. I'll bring back manufacturing. And I'll pass a middle-class tax cut. And if that's too scary for Washington, then so be it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward?
Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $300 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book?
How to get a $300 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
That's me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
I'm News 3 Now's Josh Spreiter. I'm visiting the people, places, and events that make this area one of a kind. Tell me what inspires you, and it might be featured on News 3 Now this morning.
In the 608, weekdays on News 3 Now this morning. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Well, the party was in full swing on the first day of the annual Oktoberfest in Munich. Revelers downed huge beers and enjoyed live music as the celebrations got underway. Oktoberfest is back in Germany after 2 years of pandemic cancellations. And with it, the fat-dripping pork knuckles, pretzels the size of dinner plates, and beer mugs that sure give your biceps a workout. But while brewers are more than glad to see the return of the sudsy tourist centerpiece, both they and visitors are under pressure from inflation in a way that could scarcely be imagined the last time it was held in 2019. This year's Oktoberfest, the 187th edition, runs through October 3rd. And there's a home nestled in a hill in western Wisconsin that looks like a dwelling straight out of a fantasy novel. The so-called Hobbit House is for sale in River Falls, and it could be yours. Adam Duxter takes us inside.
Lots of split levels in the Midwest, but nothing quite like this one.
Realtor Sarah Kopecki has sold hundreds of homes.
What's really cool about the walls is it's like a spray foam insulation that they've painted white.
But none of them quite like this. Built in the 1970s by two energy-efficient focused UW River Falls professors, every turn of this two-bed, two-bath house.
And you've got this wall of organizers.
Proves why it's called the Hobbit Home.
I'm embarrassed to say I've never seen The Lord of the Rings, and I probably should have before listing this property.
In just a few weeks' time, this nearly 3.5-acre property has been viewed on Zillow more than 65,000 times, partially because the price might be less than you think. Just $315,000.
We had agents touring from Kansas this morning, somebody from Milwaukee. We had somebody from Oklahoma.
How unique is this house? Well, with other homes, you might spend a day working on your yard and another day working on your roof. But with this place, that project is quite literally one in the same. Jim Kramer's clients hope to be the next owners.
I immediately just thought priceless. It's hard to put a number on something so unique.
I knew that people would be interested and excited about it. I never in my wildest dreams thought there would be as much excitement as there has been with this property.
And as of tonight, that listing is approaching 143,000 views. Very cool. Let's take a look at your certified most accurate forecast with our own weather wizard, Julian Seawright.
I like that one. Thank you, Armand. I'm happy to be the weather wizard. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our radar, because we did see some showers earlier today. Good thing is that we didn't see any storms for us near the southern Wisconsin area, but we can see just south of Kenosha a little bit of a cluster starting to move its way, but everything has pretty much fallen apart. And on top of that, this is what we're really seeing where all the activity is as of right now. It's mainly into the eastern side of Iowa, and it's continuing to shift itself just a bit more south. So we're not really going to be looking at too much development, at least for now. We are still going to be watching for the later parts of tonight, as storms are going to look to start to develop. By the time we get into around the midnight hour, we could start to see some showers and some thunderstorms for some areas. It's not going to be very widespread, but areas just south of Dane County and around Dane County in itself, we'll just expect for a light show going into tonight. Outside of that, here's a quick little overview. For overnights, we're looking at temperatures to fall between the mid-60s, and outside of it, we are going to be looking at some showers and some thunderstorms. Again, it's not going to be very widespread, and it's not going to last all night, but it will last throughout much of our overnight hours, and we could see just a couple of pop-up showers or even some storms into our early morning hours, and potentially back again once we get into the afternoon. Now, we'll time that out in just a moment, but we're seeing this as of right now. The system that has been moving itself into bringing in a cluster of some storms that even had delayed and suspended the Iowa game that was going on tonight is still just in Iowa. We are going to start to see some of those clusters just towards the northeast roll its way into southern Wisconsin, which could start to bring in a bit more of those storm chances for us. And that's what we're going to be looking at coming into Crawford, Vernon, Lafayette, and Fort Iowa County into the later part of tonight. So around 11, we can possibly expect some of that to start to fire off for us and start to move its way into Dane County around midnight. However, some of these storms could start to fall apart, so we could just be seeing a bit of rain starting to move its way throughout much of southern Wisconsin. And then it's going to be periodic throughout the rest of the overnight hours. And by the time we get into around 6 a.m., I'm looking for things to pretty much fall apart. Open skies, even though the southerly winds are going to roll its way in. So it's going to be a muggy and a mild morning throughout the course of our Sunday. And that's really what it's going to be like throughout the course of the day in itself. Humidity is going to be rather high for us, so just be prepared for some thick air. But outside of it, temperatures are going to be mild once again. Could see, once again, potentially a pop-up shower, maybe a pop-up storm. It's mainly going to be onto the southern side and a bit more to the west. But outside of it, many of us are not going to be seeing much in terms of active weather throughout the course of our Sunday, which could be good news. Now, taking a look at how much rain we could see from any of the clusters that roll through, many of us will see about 1/10 of an inch or even trace amounts, and some areas could see 1/4 to 1/2. Here's our 3 things we'll need to know. We are looking for periodic storms overnight. Overall, though, we are going to enter into an unsettled pattern, so we could see just pop-up showers throughout the next few days, but mild and cool temperatures are going to return by the time we get into the back end of next week. So we're we're going to be looking at, once again, an unsettled pattern starting in from tomorrow, Monday, and for Tuesday, where we could see some showers and storms. Could even lead into our Wednesday with that cold front rolling in. But the good news is that cold front itself will be bringing in some really nice temperatures, because 60s look to be pretty much hanging in our forecast for the back end of next week. Armand?
There we go. Fall's beginning.
I can't wait.
Weather.
Yep, love it.
All right, thanks, Julian. Well, we've heard from Paul Christ. Now let's hear from the team on the big win this afternoon. More coming up in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
By some measures, our economy is doing great. We've reached the lowest unemployment in state history. We have a record budget surplus. But there's another side, too. Rising prices for groceries, gas, and medications. Folks, that's a problem. That's why I have a plan to cap prescription drug prices, aggressively prosecute price gouging, and cut taxes by another 10% for working families. It's the right thing to do for Wisconsin and our economy.
Okay, so why use Toyota service centers?
Well, you wouldn't use just any carpenter, would you?
This thing working? Oh, I'm never getting out of here.
No.
Right.
Toyota Service Centers. Keep your Toyota a Toyota. Toyota. Let's go places.
New Salonpas Lidocaine Flex, a super thin, flexible patch with maximum OTC strength lidocaine that contours to the body to relieve pain right where it hurts. And did we mention it really, really sticks? Salonpas, it's good medicine.
It's time for new energy-efficient replacement windows from Champion.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Don't sweat over high energy bills. Stay comfortable in your home all year long. Call or go online to book your free estimate at getchampionwindows.com.
Attention foodies. With this fusion of prime rib steak, melted provolone, and other magical melty stuff, Arby's is now officially a fusion restaurant. Chef Smooch, Arby's, we have the meat.
Keep bragging about your buck after the hunt with wild game processing from Johnson's Sausage Shop in Ryle, Wisconsin. Friends enjoy a hunting story more over a jalapeno cheddar stick. Johnson's Sausage Shop accepts wild game 7 days a week. First bucks in are the first brats out.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
It changes your entire world. I know because I was a victim myself. So to think there are people like Senator Ron Johnson in Washington who'd make it harder. Ron Johnson supported the Supreme Court's decision outlawing abortion in Wisconsin, even for victims of rape and incest, allowing doctors and nurses to be prosecuted. When I think about other victims and what they're going to have to go through because of Ron Johnson, he doesn't share our values. S&P is responsible for the content of this ad.
I mean, talk about a bounce back. The Badgers tore up Camp Randall this afternoon, scoring the most points in 8 years, which also marks the most with Paul Christ at the helm. 9 total touchdowns. 5 different Badgers scored. It all started with a 39-yard rushing touchdown by none other than Braylon Allen. And once the second quarter arrived, Wisconsin flipped this game on its head. 28 points scored in that quarter alone. Then they come out of halftime, post another 21 points in the third quarter. Allen ends the day with 3 scores. Graham Mertz throws for over 250 yards with 3 touchdowns, as well as Skylar Bell and Isaac Garendo end the day with a pair of touchdowns. Wisconsin steamrolls New Mexico State 66-7, improving to 2-1 on the season. Sports director Zach Hanley has more from this team on their monster win.
The best way to describe this game, Wisconsin was a windshield,
New Mexico State was a bug. On offense, the Badgers racked up nearly 600 yards and scored 66 points, while on defense, they were just as dominant, forcing 3 turnovers and giving up just 7 points. It was a total team win, and boy, did it feel good after last week.
You know, we came in here and we worked really hard all week. Our practice energy was really good. And I think our energy today, you know, obviously it's a game we probably should have won, you know, but I think that the way that we did it and the way that we dominated it was really encouraging.
Proud of the response we had this week during practice. I mean, guys are competing, having fun, and really pushing each other to get better. And you see that in the front 7 and the secondary with our receivers. I mean, guys really competed this week, and they pushed it to a different level.
I think the guys were hungry, you know. We didn't feel like we deserved to lose last week. I'm very proud of the guys, the way we rallied, the way everybody was flying on all cylinders, completing every assignment. I just think this, if we can keep this same attitude, it's no limit to what we can do.
Now, today went so well that there was even talk of fashion after the game. As far as the red pants go, well, Paul Chryst put it as only he could, saying, quote, "I don't care as long as they play well." At Camp Randall Stadium, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
Whitewater riding high after knocking off the best team in Division III last week. The 4th-ranked Warhawks beat Berry College today, 17-3. Whitewater enters its bye week. Then they're on the road for the next 2 after that. Their next home game isn't until Friday, October 14th. It's going to be a conference matchup with UW Oshkosh. There's just something about being under the lights at Lambeau Field. For the 2nd year in a row, the Packers' home opener is a primetime matchup, and tomorrow features the league's oldest rivalry with the Bears coming to town. Over the last couple of decades, the Packers have dominated this matchup, winning 20 of the last 23 regular season games against the Bears. Well, that includes a 6-game win streak. But even with all those stats and records working in the Packers' favor, Matt LaFleur knows that this Chicago team is coming off a huge win over the 49ers, and they're going to be ready to battle.
A lot of mental toughness, a lot of resiliency, and that's what they showed. And they're doing it against a team that we know very well. And for them, a younger team, to be able to grind one out like that, I think that should tell our guys everything that they need to know, that they need to get ready for. This is going to be a team, no matter what the circumstance, we're going to get their best shot. We know it, and we're going to have to be prepared for that.
The primetime division showdown kicks off at Lambeau tomorrow night at 7:20. Brewers walked off the Yankees last night, and they clearly carried that momentum into Game 2 tonight. 2 on in the 3rd, Willy Adames sends it out in a hurry for home run number 30. He sets a team record for the most homers by a shortstop in a single season. That passes Robin Yount's previous record. Brandon Woodruff keeping the Yankees quiet tonight. 8 innings of work, 10 punch-outs. The Brewers win 4-1. They win the series, and they're going to try to complete the sweep tomorrow.
There you go.
I know. We've talked about this earlier, yes, that you are a Bears fan. So as everyone here hopes for a Packers win tomorrow, you will not be.
Well, I'm just hoping that we can at least play competitively. We always seem to let everyone down when the game actually happens, so.
Well, we'll be back here tomorrow night. Just keeping an eye out.
If I'm not here, you know what happened. I'm just home crying, so.
Yeah. We'll bring a box of tissues.
Thanks, Jordan.
You're welcome.
All right, coming up when we return, Julian with weather.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Looks like they finally got rid of that trip hazard. They pump it full of mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
Where are the patched holes? Where's the splashed mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
Concrete lifting technologies can quickly raise and level any concrete surface using cutting-edge foam technology made in Wisconsin. Fast and accurate and eco-friendly.
How do those guys do it? Where are the holes? Where's the mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Joe Biden on Medicare for All.
It's going to raise taxes on middle-class people.
Medicare for All would double your income taxes, ban employer-provided and union health plans, and bankrupt Medicare for seniors. Mandela Barnes still supports Bernie Sanders' socialist takeover of your health care.
Medicare for All is the easiest way to get us to universal health care.
Mandela Barnes, more liberal than Joe Biden, way too liberal for Wisconsin.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
This 120-year-old building holds the most beautiful bicycle store in the world, Machinery Row Bicycles. Machinery Row Bicycles has Wisconsin's largest selection of Trek Bike Path bikes, Trek Kids, and Trek Road bicycles. New Trek mountain bikes will start under $390. Hundreds of accessories include free installation, free adjustments, kickstands, and quality service are all included in your Machinery Row Trek bicycle. So many fun things to look at and bicycles to test ride on the bicycle path by the lake at Machinery Row Bicycles.
Help us collect kids' winter coats during Coats for Kids.
Well, it tastes like a tomato, smells like a tomato, and even looks sort of like a tomato. This purple tomato could soon be coming to a grocery store near you. The USDA has approved the genetically modified purple tomato. And it's not just pretty and purple. Scientists who made it say it has more antioxidants and a longer shelf life than garden variety red tomatoes. For it to make it to stores, the FDA just give it a thumbs up and it'll be on the shelves. I wonder where scientists were at with the cure for the common cold. Let's steer back there. There's a few other...
I'm sorry, if you made it to this part of the show, I'm sorry that you opened up that way. Yeah, scientists about the... Honestly, if you're eating a tomato that looks like an onion, that's just disgusting. Oh, no, absolutely not. I would be disgusted. That is high treason, as we joked about. Take a look at our next 10 days, folks. We're looking at unsettled weather for the next few, which will bring in chances of seeing some storms on and off throughout the next few days, but then we're cooling off heading into next weekend.
All righty, good night, everybody.